Good day, happy travelers. Today we are talking about my two favorite things, one being Disney, and then, of course, the other being a Disney cruise. This is about the Disney Dream 4 night Bahamian cruise, leaving from Fort Lauderdale, two stops, Castaway Cay and Nassau. And if you're watching this, you are booked on this cruise, or you are thinking about booking this cruise. Either way, I'm going to help you get from the airport to your cruise ship, work through the logistics of getting from point A to point B. We're going to talk about the ports of call. Are there free things available to do? We'll review some of the paid options that are available at each port of call, and then wrap up by giving you tips and tricks to get home safely. So let's hop into it. Fort Lauderdale International Airport is very close to Port Everglades, and the Disney cruise ship, just to show you, hey, airport right here. The cruise ship is Terminal 4 right there. And we'll zoom in on that a little later just to get you oriented. But in terms of, hey, when should we get there? Should I get there the day of the cruise, the day before the cruise? We always recommend the day before, only not necessarily because of the distance from the airport to the cruise terminal. I mean, you literally could walk there in probably an hour. So it's not a far walk. The problem is getting to the airport. And in the past calendar year, I've had the following delays hit me: weather delays, mechanical delays, air traffic control staffing issues, a pilot strike. Those are the ones I can think of off the top of my head right now. So I recommend, and many people in the business recommend, flying in the day early. And the worst case scenario, team, is you're in South Florida a day early. And that, you know what? That ain't too bad. Otherwise, there's so many hotels around the airport. The past couple times we stay here, we're Marriott folks. The Sheraton Four Points Hotel, it's great. There used to be a complimentary breakfast. Now it's not super complimentary anymore. It's like $10, which isn't bad. But they got a lot of Uber delivery. If that's more your speed, we've taken advantage of everything. But if you're Hilton, Marriott, Clear Choice, there's many options, and all of them, well, most of the name brand ones offer a shuttle service, not complimentary. Some might, but the ones that we work with, it's no longer complimentary to Port Everglades. Although we do use a shuttle service by SAS Transportation. They've been fantastic. They even get us down from Fort Lauderdale down to Miami International Airport. I do want to call out right here that Port Everglades is serviced by two airports. Miami International is within shuttle distance. It's about a 45-minute drive, but that Miami International is actually 250 more per person right now. I mean, you can check if it makes financial sense. I just want to call out that, hey, it's right down the road, more or less. And if you're big in flying into Miami, I think it's worth noting. It's worth noting. So otherwise, you're going to end up from here to the port. And here's Terminal 4, your shuttle person, your taxi, your Uber. All your documentation should say, hey, this is where I'm going. Most people, you say Disney, they know where you're going, and they'll take you there. And unlike Port Canaveral, unlike Port of Miami, and definitely the Port of Miami, this is more static. I haven't run into too many instances, and I'll knock on wood, where they kind of mix it up. Like Royal Caribbean, they got their huge ships down here, and they got like special berthing for that. So, but still pay attention. Anything could happen. It just hasn't happened yet. So you'll get on your ship and you're on your way to one of your two stops is the Bahamas. You will probably park here, and you probably won't be the only one parked there. As a matter of fact, you probably have 3 or 4 of the cruise ships with you. Now, is there free things to do? There is, if you like shopping. You can walk down here, and there are some shops here. Can you walk to the Atlantis? The Atlantis is over here. It'll be like this oasis on the horizon. It's going to look fantastic. It's going to look so close that you can walk to it. You can not really. You got to go down Bay Street all the way down to the bridge and across it over. By the time you get there, you probably should probably turn around and start walking back. So shopping is about what the free excursion is, and you can probably get pictures and other things of the like, or go to a museum. There's always museums in port. Otherwise, Let's talk about some of the paid options that Disney offers you to do. And in short, beach, snorkeling, dolphins, and the Atlantis. The Atlantis Aqua Adventure. If you've been to Typhoon Lagoon at Disney World, if you've been to Blizzard Beach at Disney World, the Atlantis Aqua Adventure is very much like that in every sense of the word. It was the first water park I've ever been to, and the only one that's better than it, in my opinion, mostly because of the wave pool, is Typhoon Lagoon. Otherwise, you can hang out with dolphins and get pictures for the gram, swim with dolphins, do Blackbeard's pirate ship adventure. I mean, that's you can't. I mean, you can't. You start telling your friends you went on Blackbeard's adventure. That now you're letting people know. You can go out in a boat and do some sea lion watching. You can do a Segway. There's so many things to do. Snorkeling, catamaran, drive around on a funky Jeep, drive around on a funky boat, discover Nassau by land and by sea. There's countless things to do. It really comes down to, hey, does your family like the water? Do they like fishing? So that's kind of the gist of it here. More boats. Then you can go to a tour if you want like a cultural tour. Hey, what's made in the Bahamas? You can go on a tour and do that. That's more your thing. Or go take a look at some forts. We do that in San Juan. That's very enjoyable. But you have to figure out your family. Like, does your family like looking at forts? If that's going to get your kids bored, maybe that's not super exciting. So anyway, that is Nassau. The water is every bit of the postcard you've ever seen if you've never been there. Now let's talk about Castaway Cay, Disney's private island. Is there free stuff to do? You betcha. You can swim. There's chairs up and down here. There's food up and down here. Lounging, just taking it easy. That's the plan. That's what I want to do. Stuff to walk to all around. But if you're like, hey, can I throw money at it? And Disney absolutely encourages you to throw money at it. And there's absolutely stuff you can do. You can rent a bike and ride your bike around. You can rent a tube, 2-day tube rental for $20. You can get some snorkeling equipment for $57. Go on a banana boat ride. Go on a boat. Go fishing. Go hang out with stingrays. Then snorkeling with stingrays. Go on water. I mean, how much fun do you want to have? And if that looks like fun to you, I would do a paddle boat, 4-person paddle boat, some I mean, it's ridiculous. The fun that you can have is absolutely ridiculous. But then at the end of the day, all the fun will be had, and you'll be tired, and you'll be boarding the ship, and you'll be heading back eventually. Not too soon, but eventually you'll end up back at the Fort Lauderdale. Final tips and thoughts here. You're in Florida. Can you make it to Disney World from Fort Lauderdale? Yes. Could you fly there? Well, when I looked, I didn't see any nonstop flights to like Orlando. And I would have to fly to like Atlanta to get to Orlando. So your best bet, you have two different options. And you may want to look at a shuttle service or a bus service. And they are available. Actually, we asked our driver, SAS Transportation, said he took a group of people. And I recall $300, but you can get a quote if you want to go to Disney World. And at the end of it, Disney World may not be a bad place to go because that's, you're there. Now, in terms of dining and getting back on the ship, sometimes entertainment conflicts with dining. And what I've learned is food is always available, but the entertainment isn't. So try not to miss a show if you think the show is important to you. Just try to make alternate dining reservations if they have, anytime dining is a good option, or a buffet, or heck, pizza. We talked about flying in the day before, the 2 airports that service Port Everglades, hotel shuttles, and then let's talk about getting off the boat. You get off the boat, hey, when should I fly home? I recommend, and I always do, anytime afternoon. This one is close, and unlike Port Canaveral, this one you could probably get away with flying as early as 10 a.m. I wouldn't. That's not my advice is always noon. Worst case scenario, team, I'm hanging out in the airport with a Starbucks, and I'm relaxing. I'm finding something to do. And then we'll wrap up by saying Day One Kids Club is a good idea. I missed day one once, got my kid on day two. I might as well have moved him from one school to another in the middle of the school year, and it wasn't a super good experience. So day one is a great idea. But otherwise, hey, you are on a cruise and you are on the Disney Dream to the Bahamas. And it's going to be a fantastic time. And I'll see you in the next video.